It's good, YouTube. Cardfight King here. AQUA Life Baby. You already know how it is. Okay, so we got some Maelstrom cards to get into, don't we? Again, sorry for the lack of videos. Obviously, haven't really played a lot of card games really like that in general. Been mostly focused on school since school started. I'm a senior at University of Maryland, so trying to get my degree, and I have a senior capstone project I'm trying to do. So I've been doing a lot of research, preliminary research on my dissertation I'm trying to write. So that's basically what's been keeping me. Other than that, just, certain other things that Bushiroad has not done, but we'll get into that in another time. But for right now, we're going to start talking about Maelstrom. I'm going to talk more about certain things towards the end of the video after we cover some of these cards. But let's get into the Maelstrom. I'm so happy that they're finally giving some quality support to the OG, to the man who got me started with Vanguard. OG Maelstrom. He's such a cool looking card. Such a cool card. Alright, so, Blue Storm, Crusher Dragon, and Golf Maelstrom. He is our Stride Maelstrom. He's double rare, and our Grade 3 Maelstrom is also double rare, which definitely points towards something that I want to cover towards the end of the video as well. But, nevertheless, here it is. Wave 4th time only, which means, obviously, only on the 4th battle of your turn. For the battle that this unit attack, your opponent cannot call cards from hand and G-Zone with the less grade than the number of cards with Maelstrom in their card names in your soul. Which means that if you have two cards with Maelstrom in your soul, your opponent cannot guard with grade 1s or less from their hand or G-Zone. Obviously, this is still open to being, you can still intercept regardless of how many cards you have in the soul. Your opponent can still use grade 2s, grade 3s, generally, I guess if you're playing Blade Wings, because your grade 3 is going to get some shield value. And G-Guardians. You have to have 5 in your soul in order for you to negate all types of guarding, and your attack's just going to definitely go through. Now, it says with Maelstrom in its card name, and what I'm hoping is, especially looking at the Break Ride skill that we had gotten back in the Clan Booster, Maelstrom, who searches for a card with Maelstrom in its name, that we're going to be getting maybe a grade 2 and a grade 1 that contains Maelstrom, or has an ability where if this card is in the deck or your soul or the drop zone, whatever it is, it will contain, or something like that, it will contain the name Maelstrom. I'm hoping that we definitely get something like that to actually speed up the process of this type of ability and to make it a little bit more viable and, I guess easier to meet those types of conditions. So far, I'm really liking its other ability. And again, that's, one thing, we hope for, obviously, with these spoilers and reveals. You start thinking about how it goes with current support, what future support it's going, it could receive that could help improve, what we're able to see so far. His other ability is you choose a face down card from your G. Act once per turn. Choose a face down card from your G zone. Turn face up. If the number of cards with Maelstrom in their card names in your G zone is 2 or more, this unit gets 5,000 power and critical +1 until the end of turn. That's very good. That means that combined with the potential guard manipulation, we get 5,000 power and a crit. That means we'll be at a base of 31k with an extra crit swinging in on our opponent. Very, very, very nice. Again, if you can get to at least 2 Maelstroms in your soul, you negate grade 1s or less, which would in effect means that they're going to either have to dump intercepts and a lot of grade 2s, or they're going to, or it'll force out a G-Guardian from their hand for that. So, this is definitely a really nice card. Just taking cards out of our opponent's hand, or forcing a G-Guard, probably in a situation where they didn't want to use one, but forcing a G-Guard nonetheless, reducing that number, looking at the victories of it, obviously, and or they're just going to have to bite the bullet and take the damage, with that factor. Now, looking at this card, obviously we don't have a Maelstrom G-Guardian, which means that this card as a GB2 stride, unless you have a Maelstrom face up in your G zone, this crit ability is not going to be that effective, obviously. So he's kind of a card that you want to probably go into maybe after you use like first turn Disaster Maelstrom or something like that. But I'm definitely liking this card. I definitely see some ways that the main deck can definitely help improve improve and really make this card viable. Now, the fact that this card and, our grade 3 Maelstrom are double rares leads me to believe something else. But again, like I said, we'll cover that at the towards the end of the video. Now, grade 3 Maelstrom, obviously double rare. Blue Storm, Supreme Dragon, Lordly Maelstrom. Okay, these Maelstrom names are just epic. I love Maelstrom so much. So you counterblast 1. When your G unit with Maelstrom in its original card named strides, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose a card from your drop zone, put it into your soul. Choose up to 1 card with Blue Storm in its card name from your hand, call it to the rearguard circle. Until end of turn, it gets auto rearguard circle once per turn. At the end of the battle that this unit attacked, stand this unit. I love this skill. Honestly, I kind of wish that this type of card, this type of stride break card, came out in the clan booster, the incessant waves, rather than our break ride Maelstrom. Nothing we can obviously do about that, but I kind of wish we were actually able to play this card, and then the set 13 can improve upon that type of support rather than this being something new and whatever it is. But for the effect, I love it. I like it. For 1 counterblast, which obviously is going to make Maelstrom a little bit more counterblast heavy than it is now. This definitely will help engulf Maelstrom a ton. Being able to put a card from my drop zone, so which is why I was hoping that we can get a grade 1 and 2 or whatever, or vice versa, whatever it is, that will count as Maelstrom in the soul or the deck, something so that we can take it and actually have a good ride target as well, but also it'll be a lot easier than just trying to filter out all of your grade 3s and try and stack your soul with grade 3s. This definitely helps in that regard, doing that. And then the other ability, which I really love, is giving the Blue Storm that you call from your hand. A free restand is really good. I mean, you can do something with like Spyros, like you call out Spyros. Spyros attacks for 9k, swing, poke at a rear guard. Lordly Maelstrom restands him. Spyros swings at Vanguard, counterblast 1. Blue Storms restands Spyros. Spyros can swing again. You can potentially get 3 attacks for 2 counterblasts out of Spyros. With that ability. But other than that, for this ability, giving the ability to, like, Gregorius, a 12k attacker, 12k at the Vanguard twice. That's 2 battles that we've fulfilled already. Then we just need 1 more battle, and then to attack with, like, Engulf Maelstrom for the ability to go off. Or just a 4th battle in general. You give that to Rascal Sleeper, who's the 11k if you don't want to switch with anything really behind you or anything like that. It can also help out with... I can't remember her name for the life of me. It's a Bow Princess. I think it's Theta, the Bow Princess Theta. She's a 9k attacker, and then on wave 2, she's a 12k attacker. It'll definitely help with that. You can poke 9k at a rear guard, then she'll restand, and then she'll swing 12k and poke at the Vanguard as well. So I'm really liking what Lordly Maelstrom is bringing to the table. And then his GB2 ability is Counterblast 1. At the end of your turn, if there were 4 more attacks this turn, you may pay the cost. If you do, draw a card and choose one of your opponent's rear guards. Your opponent chooses one of his or her rear guards and retires it. So again, rather than us getting the choice, our opponent does get the choice, but it's the fact of that we're going a pseudo +2 in a sense, meaning that we're drawing a card and getting rid of a card on their board at the same time. I think that is definitely key, and that is definitely a really nice ability. For just an extra counterblast, we get to draw and retire something. Now, again, with his on-stride ability and this ability that you're going to use, generally you're looking at spending 2 counterblasts per turn, which means that hopefully we're going to be getting some type of way to, alleviate our counterblast usage, Obviously we have cards like the Jellyfish Soldier, who Soul Blast 2 and you can unflip 2, but the key problem I would find with that card is that when it does come to Soul Blasting, especially if, we don't get a starter better than what we have in Mario's, that you don't want to be in a situation where you're starved for counter blast and you're going to Soul Blast. You don't want to Soul Blast any Maelstroms out the stove to reduce Engulf's effectiveness. You don't really want to do that. So that is definitely something to pay attention to when looking at this card and attempting to play this card. Is that what is Bushiroad going to give us to help alleviate the counter blast usage? What do we currently have to help alleviate the counter blast usage? I mean, shoot, even in a sense, are we going to be running crits? Or are we going to be running stands? What is the outlook of this deck going to look like? And so as more cards get spoiled and revealed, those questions should be answered once we generally get our full set. And now we have our last card. It's a grade 2 10K. I'm surprised that we're getting another 10K. This is a 10K with an effect. Blue Storm Soldier Eldamos. So when this card is placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, you choose up to one card from your hand, reveal it. If that card or your Vanguard is not a card with Maelstrom in this card name, this unit gets power minus 5,000 for the turn. So that's pretty interesting. I guess it's kind of a way to keep the card in check, seeing it as it is a pretty nice grade 2 card. It's a pretty nice grade 2 card for Blue Storms that they got. Kind of, just a little counterbalance to, keep it in check. And it says if that card or your Vanguard is not a card with Maelstrom. So, again, it's either or. But if you reveal a card with Maelstrom, you should be fine. Now, his other ability is Rearguard Circle. Now, that was Vanguard or Rearguard. This one's Rearguard once per turn. You counterblast 1. You choose a card with Maelstrom in this card name from your drop zone, put it into your soul. Until the end of turn, this unit can attack from the back row and it gets plus 4K. So, this card is going to be a 14K attacker from the back row. I think that's very good. And it's a 10K, so it's not it's not a card that you're definitely gonna be able to poke at, initially. But I think this card is definitely pretty strong in a sense. Again, it is a counterblast. It is a counterblast for his ability, but we also do get to place another Maelstrom card from our drop zone into our soul. So Lordly Maelstrom and this card both have ways to fill our soul with Maelstrom, so we can potentially be getting two Maelstrom cards in our soul per turn. Meaning that after 2 turns of using these ability, we will have 4 in soul, negating grade 3s and lower from being called from the G zone and the hand. Obviously, there's no grade 3s in G zone, but there's that. Meaning that one more card that is Maelstrom that goes into the soul means that we will be able to, that Engulf will be able to negate all types of guarding, which is definitely key. I like these cards. I really do. The fact that they're double rare means, to me, based upon the history of seeing things about how Bushiroad goes about things, usually when it's double rare, that means that they're not expecting it to generally be that good, that strong, really something to have, and it's going to be heavily supported. I'm glad that they're supporting Maelstrom, but when I'm looking at this and them being double rares, I see that maybe they're not going to have enough of a quality commitment to improving Maelstrom, and that the other Aquaforce cards, the grade 3 Thavis that we're supposed to be getting, hopefully we don't get the Fenrir treatment with that, where he's just a useless grade 3. We need a definite upgrade to the current Thavis that we have, but I just hope that, with this kind of trend, that our support's not going to be stretched so thin that Thavis gets heavily neglected. And I don't know if they're going to be supporting Blue Waves at all. Blue Wave might just have to benefit off of the generic support that we're going to get. But that's kind of my fears and what I'm looking at. Again, we don't know anything. This is just I'm just speculating. It sounds negative, but I'm just speculating based upon the history of releases and what generally a double rare like this like these two, I mean your main stride and your main grade 3 from this set, the card that you want to be on, that you want to ride, and your main stride unit for this type of deck are both double rares. Kind of speaks volumes to me based upon the history. Excuse me. So that's the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Again, when Chaos Breaker Deluge comes out, I'll be covering Chaos Breaker, for what's come out for it, or that you can use in it. Because I'm very excited to see. I'm very excited for Crisis. I'm very excited to see, to definitely see what Deluge does and get Chaos Breaker rolling early December, and then being able to hopefully transition into Aqua Force, late December, early January, things like that. Since I thought this set comes out on the 22nd of December, which is 21 days after the Rondo of Chaos, whatever it is, comes out. So yeah, very excited. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you guys want me to talk about anything else. But I will leave you guys with this tidbit. The reason why I'm skeptical and very heavily looking forward to and praying for the best, some really good, meta game changing types of cards for Aquaforce is because, generally when you look at it as a player, you're not too comfortable you're not set on winning a tournament or anything like that with Aquaforce. We've been using the same, and I'll reiterate this point in another video, we've been using the same support for competitive play since 2015. The same support that we received in 2015, we are still using to this day. Set 9, 2016 gave us absolutely nothing except for Wailing Thavis, who is definitely still going to be continued to seeing use. But we really have not gotten anything competitively viable that makes an impact. Over 80% of your main deck and even your stride deck, to a sense, is support from 2015 and back further. With the exception of generally with the exception of Wailing Thavis. I'm not going to count triggers because triggers are triggers, but that is, and to me that is a problem, because as other decks evolve, have different types of changes and impacts to their main deck, to their stride deck, how it also affects the overall meta, we haven't received any of that source. You can even look, since I guess the game's based off the show, Jaime has been reduced to nothing more than a cheerleader. He's supposed to be that European champion, whatever it is, and I'm hoping that the new guy, Valeos, or whoever that we're getting, he does look like that alpha male type of character, that character who is more serious, more driven, and will hopefully have a big role in the upcoming season, which means that obviously we're going to probably get more support, but he just looks like that type of character that, since Leon's kind of faded out, since they've kind of faded out Leon to a degree, he's that type of character to basically take us to new heights, because I really don't like what they've done with Jaime, made him a cheerleader, and we haven't really gotten any support from that, and it shows not only in the show, but it also shows in how they've distributed support to us, being that if you want to play competitively, you're going to be using a majority of things from 2015 and back. But again, I'll cover more of that in another video. I just wanted to leave you guys with that. I'm very excited for Maelstrom. Very excited for, hopefully the future. I'm just holding down hope for the future. And yeah, that's that. All right, Cardfight King, AQUA Life Baby. You already know how it is, and I'm out. Peace.